you're at adoration, you're there with the Lord's body, blood, soul, and divinity. Is the Blessed Mother also closer to you somehow then?
Yeah, I really appreciate the question. So I think we need to distinguish modes of presence here, and the Eucharistic presence of Christ is unique. There's nothing else in all of reality like it, where you have a physical reality that is made available in a substantial mode simultaneously in multiple places at the same time, and circumscribed in time and place, right? So it's that is just strange. That's unique, and that is applicable only to Christ in the Blessed Sacrament. Only Jesus is substantially, but not physically. There's a difference between substantial and physical. So substantial means the substance of. Physical means all of the properties of that physicality. Mm-hmm. So Tom's physically present to me. He's not just substantially present. Jesus is substantially present in the Eucharist, and in such a fashion that he can do that in more than one consecrated host, at more than one time, in more than one place. But it's not just ubiquity, because the Blessed Sacrament is circumscribed by time and space. So, I mean, it really is contained, say, in the tabernacle on the altar, and not, say, in the broom closet. I mean, it's a very, very specific mode of presence, and clearly that's not true of Mary. There's nothing that conveys to us the substance of Mary's body and blood, right? That's not the case.
Right.
There are other modes of presence that are applicable to Jesus. So, when we talk about the divine presence, God is present to us by omniscience, that he knows all things. And, I can go to the heights and he's there watching me. I can go to the depths and he's there watching me. The psalmist says that. Well, that's not true of Mary, not as far as we know, right? There's no reason to think that Mary is omniscient. That'd be an attribute of divinity. There is a mode of presence, a very mysterious mode of presence that philosophers and theologians call immensity. And that is the mode of presence whereby the divine nature is sort of undergirding or underwriting, if you will, the concrete active existence of every particular thing. So, St. Paul says, in him we live and move and have our being, in Acts 17. That's the mode that we call immensity. It's related to omnipresence, but it's more powerful than omnipresence, because you could have, like, say, a gas that was diffused in space, and wherever you go, you hit the gas. And that's not what we're talking about here, because there's not more of God in an elephant than there is in a mouse. God's entirely present to the mouse, as he is to this coffee cup. This coffee cup can't exist in my hand without God undergirding and underwriting its existence by his very act of being. That's a really potent form of presence, clearly not applicable to Mary. Mary's not present to me by immensity, by omniscience, by omnipresence, by sacramental presence. She's not present to me in any of those modes. Here's another mode of presence: by intention. By intention. What is intention? Well, the intention is just simply my ability to turn my heart and mind to some particular thing or enterprise or goal or aspiration. And in that respect, Tom and I can be united. Sometimes we are, in fact, when we're like on opposite sides of the country. If one of us has an out-of-town trip and we have to do radio remotely, before we've logged on to the producer, we both have the same intent to be in the same place and do the same thing at the same time. We're united in a common goal and enterprise, and we are able to coordinate and make things happen by that common intent. In that respect, I think Mary is with us in the Blessed Sacrament, in Eucharistic Adoration. I think she's united with us in her intent, which is to do the will of God, to see God glorified in Christ, to will our salvation, even as we are willing our own salvation. And so if you want to know we're closer to her, well, we'd be closer to her. See, her intent is perfect. She has perfect moral intent. Insofar as Eucharistic Adoration moves us to purify our intention, then we would be more closely united to Mary in intention, but not any of those other modes.